Well, hello, 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 and welcome again. We've come together to draw some more cool things together. As you can see, I have drawn some things that remind us of fall. I have my little mini pumpkins here on my desk. I have a scarecrow, an acorn, a pumpkin, a sunflower, an owl, and a beautiful leaf. Each of these was drawn on an index card. And the way I got this square shape was quite easy. What I did was I took two index cards and I put them crisscross like a plus sign or one of those hospital signs, Red Cross sign or something. Well, I crossed them over each other, then I flipped them. If you notice, I have the lines going on the same direction and the plain side going the same direction. Well, I did that because I want the line side down. So I fold over and fold over like that. And voila, when I slide this out, I have something that looks like a square. The reason why I have 6 of these is because I want to make a cube. It's going to be my season cube for the season fall. I've made cubes before in other videos, like this one that had the faces of cats and dogs on them. So I wanted to show you again for the fall season how to make a really cool cube. So I have already folded these over, so I'm just going to go now and slide the second one in for each of these. I really get a kick out of making these cubes because you can take something as simple as an index card and make it three-dimensional simply by doing a few folds and tucking it and gluing it. And so I started with 6 index cards for my 6 pictures. Now I'm going to use 6 more. I have my extra ones here, and I'm going to slide another one in under each one of these. Almost done. Okay, so after I've done that, I'm going to make sure I center it, make sure it's like right in the middle of this index card, and I'm going to use just a little bit of glue, and I prefer to use a glue stick because it won't make everything wet and it'll just stick it. And once I've glued that on, then I'm going to fold the top and bottom down here, and it's back to looking like a square, which is the faces of a cube. The faces of cubes, there are 4 squares on all around the sides and then 2 more on top and bottom, and that's how you make a cube. So there are actually 6 faces. 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and then 4 that go around the sides. So as you can see, I'm just adding some glue, and then I'm folding down the top and bottom. And the reason why I'm doing that is because these flaps need to be glued together in order to make the cube. And then I can go from having these flat drawings to something that's 3-dimensional. And that's something that can sit on my desk, or it can be some kind of decoration or something you give to someone. So I'm almost done with this. This is an important step, so I wouldn't skip this step if I were you, because just that little bit of glue will hold these 2 index cards together. So if you're doing the math, yes, you're going to need 12 index cards. 6 for the drawings. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the drawings, and then 6 more that are just empty, plain, that are ready to be used to join your cube together. Okay. Now that I'm done with this, I'm ready to start gluing the cube together. And what I'm going to do is take the side flaps and connect those. So I'm going to connect 4 of them so that I can have the 4 sides of the cube. So easy. I think glue stick works best because it's just sticky and not wet. The regular glue in the bottle can just be wet, and sometimes it takes longer to dry. So if you see how I'm doing this, I'm just connecting 4 in a chain. And I'm really not even looking which direction things are going because this cube can be viewed from all sides. And now, oops, I'm going to save these 2 for the top and bottom. I didn't pick any particular ones for any particular reason. Well, let's see. Let me open these up so I can go ahead and get started with making this cube. Some of these flaps might need to go down in the middle so that when I'm making it stand up, nothing's in the way. So all of these flaps in the middle, I glue them down. So it's flat, flat, flat all across the middle here. And that's what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to give a little rub. Just make sure with a little pressure everything is sticking. And then I'm going to take these 2 ends and glue those together. So I'm going to put a little glue here and bring this guy around, and voila. And once they connect, you'll start to see your cube taking shape. Now, of course, I see some parts where the glue is not. Everything is not glued all the way down yet. And that's okay because I can go take my time and glue down and glue down and glue down. So, here we go. I'm now going to take one of these flaps right here and I'm going to glue it to one of these on the acorn. So I'm going to put a little glue there. And I'm going to make sure I match it up. I matched it up, squeeze it, and I want it to stay, so I'm just going to let it dry for a minute. This acorn is going to be glued over, and it's going to stay on this side like so. Yes. So that takes a little bit of time. You have to be patient. It takes time for glue to dry. So I'm getting in here and all these little areas that need to be glued down. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Add a little bit of glue. You might even think of a way that's easier than the way I'm thinking of to do this, but this has worked for me so far. So I'm going to stick with it. So right now that's glued in tight. Put a little glue under there. And all I'm doing is putting a little glue and then add a little squeeze. Just squeezing it a little bit. Apply a little pressure and voila. It tends to work pretty good. You have to use enough glue. Yes. Wait a minute, something came apart over here. That's because it's heavier. So, like I said, patience. So I'm going to just let this sit for a minute. I'm going to pause, let this sit for a minute so I can flip it over to do the other side before I finish. So, going around, giving a little squeeze. Okay, this needs to sit for a minute. This needs to sit. I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, now I'm back. And as you can see, the acorn side, I've already glued that down. And I took a minute to put a little glue here to make sure that all these corners were glued down. And then I glued down all the flaps that were on the back of this owl. Let's see. I think I want the owl to go that direction. Yeah, cool. Okay, so what I'll do is around here, I'll add some glue, and then I'll add a little glue here, and then I'll stick them together. So I put glue there, and you have to be careful because you don't want to, this is just, you know, index card paper, so you don't want to crush it. But I'm going to place it here and press down a little bit, and voila. I mean, it's stuck on there, but I'm going to let this glue set for a while and let it dry. But as you can see, my cube for fall is quite lovely. And if you are thinking fall and or thinking Halloween, you could put Halloween pictures on each side. I just chose fall pictures because there's certain things that just really, a scarecrow and a pumpkin at fall, during fall, and I love sunflowers, so I had to include those things. Okay, well that I think that was fun. I hope that was fun for you, and I hope you give this a try. Remember, all you need is just index cards. These things come a dime a dozen. I mean, I can get a whole pack of these for $1 somewhere, maybe even cheaper. You'll just need whatever you draw with. You'll need glue stick and index cards to come up with a fall cube, something that reminds you of, shows you items that remind you of fall, whatever things that you like about fall, and you can make those things into a cube. As you can see, my cube is pretty much stuck together now, and so I don't have to worry about the owl. The owl's hanging in there. The owl is sticking. So it does take a little patience. You do have to wait a few minutes for certain areas to dry before you can move on, but it's all worth it in the end. So until next time, I'll see you. Goodbye. And remember, art makes you smart.